God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 43 of Your Journey Is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey. This is my healing journey. And the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, to my healing journey, and to Your Journey Is Not Over. Neither of the three are to be used, copied, nor edited in any way without my consent. Now reflecting back to the part of my journey where I had surrendered to my anxiety, to my fears, and to my panic attacks. They took full control of my life. I became a shell of who I was before this part of my journey. My type A personality, I was always in control, always steadfast on not being a victim, but being a survivor, moving forward. And being a type A personality, I was very independent. Always had a plan A, a plan B, and even a plan C mapped out in my head. Thought I had it all figured out until I didn't. My type A personality faded, as did my independence. Being self sufficient, ever since I can remember, that was then gone. I relied on my now late husband for everything, just completely surrendered all that I was, all that I'd known my whole life, the person I'd known myself to be. The girl I was, well, she no longer existed. And truly, I didn't even understand the how nor the why. I understand it completely now. As they say, hindsight is 2020, right? But that's exactly what experiences bring us. When we reflect back on our journeys, we then see, we learn from, and we gain wisdom and knowledge that we didn't have before certain experiences. Had someone explained this to me, that all my traumas, my hurt, my pain, my disappointments, and how life was not what I planned it to be, my mistakes, even, my wrong turns, again, the back roads that I traveled without even understanding how I even got there. Well, again, had someone shared with me that all of that is what led me exactly where I ended up in complete lockdown, a fear of leaving my home completely. It would have begun to make sense to me. And I now say, had someone educated me spiritually and told me, that's the devil, Tanya, playing tricks on your mind, playing on your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, using your past traumas, using your entire past and your fears against you, wanting to keep you stuck. As long as you're stuck, the devil wins. Well, defying the devil my entire life, I would have overcome it a lot sooner than what I did. The simple fact of knowing I was not going to let the devil win would have been my motivation to step back out into my life again sooner than I did. Again, had someone been relatable, someone who had experienced exactly this, shared with me the how, the why, and the spiritual side of my torment I found myself in. Millions of people have found themselves in. I would have dug deeper into my faith in God. I would have not allowed the devil to chain me to my past, to my pain, to my traumas, to my delayed reaction of fear. Oh no, I laugh looking back now. I would have been running out my front door just to defy the devil, just to show him, like I have my whole life, I'm God's daughter, and nothing the devil and his demons, nor his cockroaches, I call them anyway, can stop me, can block me, nor chain me to things I've went through, that I've overcome and survived. But I had no knowledge, no education on how, nor the why. I found myself living this isolating, lonely existence. It's so hard to explain to others that have never experienced this. And I always say, if you've never experienced depression, anxiety, panic attacks, fear even so severe that you can't leave your home, the safety of your home, well, then feel blessed. And I pray you never do. But again, millions of people suffer around the world every single day. And it truly helps knowing you are not the only one, knowing you are not alone. It's an epidemic that transcends around the world and affects so many people's lives. Sadly, it costs people their lives. We didn't choose this. Our lifelong traumas, our pain, our journeys chose this. And it led us into this existence. But again, our free will allows us to choose. Do we stay stuck, give the devil what he wants, what he has worked for our whole lives, or do we rise above, work on ourselves so that we may survive and overcome and live to tell about it, to teach others how to unlock those chains, break free from those chains the devil has bound us in? Again, no one better than someone who has personally experienced the complete mental lockdown. I always have said, I don't like anyone playing Tuesday night quarterback from the sidelines, meaning I don't like people speaking on things they don't know anything about nor have experienced. I mean, anyone can critique, put down, give their 2 cents, judge even. And it's so easy if you've never had to walk that mile of someone else's journey. Again, from the sidelines, not even in the game. For instance, I can remember becoming a young mom, 19 years old, and people in my family wanting to give me parenting advice. I always found it funny. The advice always came from those that didn't even raise their own kids and then wanted to give their opinion, their 2 cents, their advice on how to raise mine. Again, sideline quarterbacks that never even played the game. We all have them, those people in our lives in some form or fashion. People wanting to give what I call their 2 cents in others' lives. Unless those have walked a mile or two in your shoes, walked a similar journey, then nobody can relate to the feelings, the emotions, the helpless feelings, the hopeless feelings that we feel in complete lockdown. As I hear all the time, it helps to talk to relate to listen to others that have had similar experiences on their journeys. Not a person who's never walked that dark path. That's just noise, just judgment. No one chooses this life. Sadly, it's like so many other things in our lives. It chose us. But we each have a choice. Again, free will. Do we stay stuck or do we begin to reflect, to understand, to heal, and to release our entire past and step into a life with all that behind us? Begin a whole new chapter on your journeys. We can only reread those past chapters so many times. As a wise person once told me, before we must turn the page and begin a whole new chapter. God has so much in store for us. He has plans for our journeys, but we must do our part and love ourselves enough to reflect, to understand, to heal, and to release our past completely and turn the page and begin a brand new chapter, a brand new version of yourself. It's called our book of life, and it doesn't end in lockdown. This is not your final chapter. This is not your final destination. There are so many chapters left to live, to explore, to learn, and to grow through, and to enjoy, to love, to laugh, and to experience. Please turn the page of your book of life. And as I always say, give God a good book to read, to be proud of. Show him that he made you strong. He made you courageous, resilient. Show him that no matter the path, your faith, your trust in him never wavered. Show him not even the devil himself could stop you from the journey that God planned for you, that God still has for you. There is still so much ahead of you, so we must look forward, persevere, and continue on. Survive and overcome to live to share, to inspire, to encourage, to uplift others. We must live to tell about it. That's what people need, someone to relate to, a real living, breathing person, not someone on TV, not someone in a movie, not a fictional character, a real person. I now understand why no stone was left unturned on my journey. God knew one day I would survive and overcome, And then He would use me, my journey, my voice to share, to relate to so many people on so many different levels, too. It's been a long, hard journey, but now I find myself grateful for my entire journey. Because God made me relatable and approachable, I now use my journey, as I say, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to in fact help others on your journeys. I pray for that every single day too. And I also tell God every single day, thank you, Father, for the journey that you trusted me enough to send me on. And I strive to not waste anything. I also strive to make him proud of the daughter he himself built me to be. If I can go through, survive, and overcome, and now tell about it, share my journey, so can you. It's never too late to begin your yellow brick road, your healing journey, to begin your self love journey. Healing is not a race, so please move at your own pace. As long as you're moving, you're no longer stuck. I always say, the more we heal, the closer to God we become, and the further from the devil. Please love yourself enough to begin to heal so that you can continue on your very own book of life. This is not the final chapter, but one must turn the page and continue on reading. And no matter what book I have read, doesn't it always get better the more you read? So guess what? The best is truly yet to come. Thursday, I will begin to share how I began to take the smallest steps, baby steps to begin to get my life back, to overcome my fears and get my self-confidence back. How I survived and overcome and made the part of my journey now just a memory. If you're suffering, I pray that this one day will be just a memory to you too. And if I can go through, survive, and overcome it, so can you. I do not own the rights to the things I chose to share today. Your journey isn't finished. Please don't let the chapter of your pain become the whole book. I'm learning to trust God even when answers are delayed. Silence does not mean absence, and waiting does not mean failure. Something is being prepared for you right now. Please choose faith over frustration, and you continue moving forward on your journey. Things that become possible when you let go. You stop carrying what was never yours to fix. You make room for what truly fits. You begin trusting yourself again. You find peace without needing every answer. You then create space for new chapters. Sometimes peace comes after you stop holding on to what's hurting you. Letting go is not always easy, but holding on to things that hurt you keeps you stuck. Real peace begins when you choose yourself over pain. Some of the most beautiful chapters of our journeys begin on pages we never planned to write. Please know worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It only takes away today's peace. Don't let anyone or anything rob you of your peace. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday. Listen in. And always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows.